Okay, so Patricia emailed me, said, "Hey, we're having a party for Patrick, and can you do a little video for happy birthday?" And I thought, "Yeah, sure." So thank you for Patricia, for letting me do this for Patrick's birthday. What I thought I'd do is light a birthday cake. You know, we can't be there, but we'll bring it out, light it, and it's a little symbol. But yeah, I thought maybe I'd tell you how Patrick and I met and tell you a little story. So we met at the USC ski team, and that was really formative for both of us. I ran it, and then he ran it. And I remember the very first time that I met Patrick, he's telling me how, you know, he likes it when he comes back to his apartment and he's got messages on his voice machine, and because the light blinks. And so that night I called him like 20 times with like, "Hello, Patrick," with one word each message, and he came home and he's all excited to hear his 20 messages. And then the next day he comes up to me and says, "Hey, why you busting my balls?" And from that point on, we were really fast friends, and it was one thing after another. And so I know there's a video from back then in the day when this is the 80s, and there was a commercial that was well known because it was an anti-drug commercial where they put these eggs in a hot pan and they sizzled, and this ominous voice overtoned with, "This is your brain on drugs." So Patrick there's a video somewhere, I don't have it, but there's a video of Patrick holding a piece of sausage going, "This is your penis on drugs," and he puts it in a hot pan. It's like, I guess that was guy humor back in the 80s. Yeah, there was a time when we were at the 5-0. This was a good time. I was telling Patrick that you can actually drink a beer upside down. He says no, and he's on crutches. And I said, "Watch this." And we were waiting at the 5-0 for no one to be watching. And I go, "Quick!" And I go and I jump in the rafters and I hang upside down. I go, "Patrick, give me my beer." And he hobbles over with one crutch of the beer and he gives it to me and I drink it. And sure enough, someone comes over, "You can't do that." But I showed him you can drink a beer upside down. So yeah, we met at USC, and I was at his graduation party at the St. Bonaventure. Remember that? He was at mine, and it was a good time. And we've been friends for a long time now. So yeah, the cake. So Patrick, your cake. How old is Patrick now?
He's 50.
Oh Jesus, he's 50. I'm gonna need something more than this. Hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, this. If I light my barbecue with this will work for this cake. Okay. So, but yeah, before I bring out the cake, let me tell you a story. So there's we graduated, and it's the early '90s. We're in LA, and man, there's this one night in particular I remember. It was just like a weeknight. It starts out in Westwood. And then we end up at Huntington Beach. This is with John Cioe. We're at Hennessy's, and I'm sure Patrick remembers this. We're up on the karaoke stage, the three of us singing "Piss Me Off, You Fucking Jerk." That night just goes on and on. We end up stripping naked at the Huntington Beach Pier, streaking down the whole thing and jumping into the ocean. Yeah, it was a good night. I remember it was a weeknight because the next day I was all hungover at work. So yeah, after that, take a year or two forward, and I'm going to take my last great motorcycle trip around the country. Go from LA all the way up to Canada, and then swing east through the upper Midwest, and I'm hitting all the national parks, and I'm on Logan Pass at the top of the Continental Divide in Glacier National Park, and I get a postcard, and I'm going to sit down and write it to Patrick. I'm like, what would Patrick want to hear? And I'm thinking, and it just comes to me that I'll just send him the lyrics to the song "Born to Be Wild." So you know, get your motor running and head out on the highway, explode into space, and I never want to die. So I said that to him. Didn't even tell him what else was going on, and he told me that he had that pinned to his cubicle for a long time, and I'm sure it ended up in his trunk, his infamous trunk, where he puts all his memories and things. Someday he's going to be president, and then he's going to have a presidential library, and then there's going to be these historians looking through his stuff going, "Oh my God, look at," and then saying, "Oh, we can't put this on display." So yeah, there was a time at USC where I was calling him Senator Maroney for a few months, and he said he liked that, but I think it still happened. So I continue on my trip from Glacier, hit more national parks, hit Canada, hit Maine, and I'm coming back into New Hampshire. And before I left, Patrick had given me this piece of paper that said, hey, there's this summer party that I've been organizing with my buddies, Matt and Wally, and here's the date and the time and the place. And it was like some remote part of New Hampshire that was off this small road onto a dirt road, onto a trail, down to a stream. And we ended up meeting up. And it was, yeah, that was another really good night. So for all you kids out there, you gotta remember, you gotta put on your anti-sci-fi glasses and imagine a time when someone gives you a piece of paper and says, here, meet me in this remote spot 2 months from now, 3,000 miles away. Because, yeah, we didn't have cell phones. There was no, hey, you gonna be there? Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Hey, you gonna be there? Yeah, I'm gonna be there. No, this is just like meet you in the woods 2 months out, and we made it happen. And Matt and Wally were there, and I had heard about this party. This is before I met Wally in his film, yeah. So that was a good time. Yeah, those were the days. So yeah, the cake. So yeah, Patrick, love you like a brother, man, and it's your birthday. It's a. How old is Patrick?
He's 50!
Oh, Jesus. Man. This isn't going to cut it. This isn't going to cut it. All right, I got this thing. This'll do a cake. Yeah, there's a lot of candles on this cake. Man. All right, so we're going to bring the cake out. Before we do that, no, let me tell you a story. So fast forward a few years, and now we're living in San Francisco, and there's this rare night in San Francisco where it's warm and there's no wind, and I had noticed this tower up above the Presidio that was abandoned. You could only see it from a distance, and it stuck out of all these trees, and I went out there and I found a way to get up it. And so this night, which is really rare in San Francisco, I'm up on it, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And so who do I call? I call Patrick. I say, hey, Patrick, man, you got to come and see this spot. And he says, yeah, sure. I said, great, bring some beer. And he actually does it. He just goes out, buys a six-pack, and I told him exactly where to park, and then he's like going through the woods and the bushes, and he's on his phone. He's like, are you sure I'm doing the right thing? I'm like, yeah, just keep going. He's like, hey, there's a rusty fence here. I said, yeah, climb the fence. So he climbs over the fence, and I'm like, just climb up the tower. And we get up there, and we're way up above the trees, and it's just beautiful. Just all of San Francisco is laid out underneath us, and we're up there chilling. And it's like basically dividing the city up into, you own that part, okay, I'm going to own this part. And as I remember it, we argued over who was going to own the mission, which turned out to be ironic since we both ended up marrying a couple of hot Latinas. Oh, man, yeah, that was good. So, yeah, and back in those days, Matt and Wally came out to San Francisco to visit Patrick, and they're staying with him, and then they come up to my place, and I'm in the city, and I remember Matt distinctly telling me, like, wait a minute, Patrick told us he lived in the city. I said, yeah. He says, but you live in the city. I said, yeah. I said, but Patrick lives 2 hours away in Los Gatos. And I'm like, yeah. So that was probably the first time Patrick embellished his story a little bit. So, yeah, those were the days back there through the 90s. That was a good time. Yeah, we weren't even married then yet. No, we did end up going to each other's weddings. But, the cake. Yeah, we gotta light the cake. So Patrick, it's your birthday. How old is Patrick?
He's 50!
He's 50. Oh my! This isn't gonna cut it. This. Hold on. Now this is a flamethrower for a 50-year-old person's birthday cake. Oh yeah, we're gonna bring that cake out. So, yeah, this will throw some heat. All right, so, but before I bring the cake out, let me tell you a story. So, yeah, back there in those San Francisco days, man, we did this houseboat trip that we organized in Las Vegas, and we went out on Lake Mead. Man, it was like 50 people, 3 boats, 2 ski boats, jet skis, and that was a good time. Well, yeah. I can tell you for sure, we went to strip clubs, we went to nice dinners, all 50 of us, and then, for what they say is like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I can tell you for sure, if it really happened in Vegas, you don't remember it. So I really don't remember much about these trips. They went on for 4 or 5 years. I do remember like Matt and Wally were there. Matt was talking about the fire below, but yeah, those were some good years. A whole bunch of good memories came out of that. Oh man, so go forward, and then Patrick's at my wedding, and I'm at his wedding, and I got to give him a belated thank you because I know he loves me like a brother. Because he didn't even live in Southern California, but he convinced Patricia to have his wedding in Palos Verdes, 5 miles from where I lived, and I know that was just so nice of you, Patrick. So thanks for doing that. I know you didn't. I don't remember where you and Patricia lived at the time, but I wasn't there, so that was really nice of you to have your wedding out where I lived. That was really great. But the memories still keep going. I remember even last year I had a conference in Atlanta and got to stay with Patrick and Patricia. So, Patrick was so nice to drop me off at the Peachtree Center in the morning, and he looks over at me right when he's dropping me off. He says, "You know you're bleeding all over your shirt?" It was true, but getting together with Patrick is always like an adventure like that. You just never know what's going to happen with him. So, so the cake, right. So we're here for Patrick's birthday, right? How old is Patrick?
He's 50!
He's 50. All right, man. Let's see what happens here if I get this right. Bring that cake on out!